Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're going to trim new construction homes or you're doing renovations either as a professional or a do-it-yourselfer, you're gonna have issues whenever you're trying to case out windows that the jamb is either too proud or too far recessed in on the drywall, and it makes it super hard to fit a miter perfectly. You're gonna go ahead and cut 45-degree cuts as if it was flat. You're gonna cut it flat on the saw, but then whenever you go to the window to install it, what happens? The joint opens up and it looks horrible. Well, there is a way to cut perfect miters for every situation, every time, regardless of whether your jamb is a 1/4 inch proud of the drywall, which means it's sitting outside the drywall, or if it's a 1/4 inch in. You can cut that miter the first time, every time, perfectly. I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. Now the problem arises, let me show you the problem we have. So we cut two 45-degree miters here. I'm lined up at a nice square angle, but the jamb is proud of the drywall by 3/16. So what happens when I push this back edge against the drywall? The whole front edge opens up. So what do? Do you make a compound cut and try and tweak this thing? There's a very simple way to solve this problem to get this miter perfect. The first thing we need to do is figure out how far proud of the drywall or recessed into the drywall the jamb is, and you just need to make a note of how much. So here I'm just using this step gauge, and it even tells me 1/4 inch, 3/16, 1/8, whatever, and I can see that I'm flush here at 3/16. So this jamb is 3/16 proud of the drywall. Now we go to our saw to cut this. I want you to note again before we cut this, you can see how much this rocks here. So if I go with a standard 45-degree cut, in order for my joint to be tight together and be perfect, my back edge is actually sitting off the drywall 3/16. What happens as soon as I push my back edge against the drywall, the whole joint opens up. So I'm going to show you how to solve this problem. Now there is a very simple concept here that it's very crucial that you understand. In order to get that miter perfect, we want to cut that miter in the same position at the miter saw as it sits on the window, and it'll be perfect, okay? So what does that mean? I'm gonna take out my gauge, and again, that jamb was 3/16 of an inch proud of the drywall. So what I need to do is I'm gonna take my gauge and I'm gonna slide it under the front edge of that casing right here. So now what I have is this piece of casing is sitting on my miter saw the same way that it is going to sit on the wall and the window jamb. So now I can cut this. And it's going to be a perfect miter. I don't have to do any weird stuff with moving the saw over at a compound angle. I don't have to get out a block plane or anything like that. All I have to do is cut the casing in the same position at the miter saw as it's going to sit on the actual window / wall when I install it. Again, here we go. I've got my gauge. I'm going to pick 3/16. I'm going to slide it under that front edge there. So it's sitting up 3/16, making sure my back edge is pressed down. There's cut number one. Now we need to do the exact same thing on the other side. The beautiful thing about doing it this way is you're just making 45-degree cuts. Nothing fancy, but we're just lifting that front edge up the same way that it'll sit on the wall. Here we are back at our window. Again, jamb 3/16 proud of the drywall. Now watch what happens whenever we put these two miters together. So now you can see the cut is perfect, and I'm tight on the back side to the wall, and I'm tight on the front side to the wall. So that's what we want. That's how you solve that problem. So a couple of notes here whenever you're doing this technique. Number one, what if it was reversed as to what we just had? What if the jamb is sitting inside the drywall further? Then in that case, I would actually need to shim up the back side of the trim, and my little step gauge that I have here would not work nearly as well. This was a trick that I've had several people from YouTube and Instagram share with me over the years, and that is to use drill bits. So if you're working a job and you're having all of your jambs are either proud or too far in or out, and all kinds of different depths, might be 1/8 on this one, 1/4 inch on the next one, grab yourself some drill bits, an 1/8 inch bit, 3/16, 1/4 inch bit, whatever you need. But the nice thing is with a drill bit, you can lay that on the back side of your miter saw fence and your casing will sit right up on that drill bit. So here, if I needed to shim up the back edge of my casing 1/8 of an inch, I would just take my drill bit, set it along the back side there, drop my casing right down on top of it, make sure it's pressed down firmly front and back, and go ahead and make the cut. So a drill bit works really well for this and that type of situation. So another comment or concern that you might have whenever you're trying to do this, especially in a production environment when you're trying to make money, is this cost effective? Well, the reality is sometimes we just don't have a choice. We have to make our miters fit, so this is a necessary evil. The best thing that you can do is communicate with your builder and try and work behind framers who set the windows at the proper depth. Thankfully, I work with a great framer and they set their windows at the proper depth really well. It's pretty rare that I have very many issues with my jambs being too far in or too far out. Usually they're just right. So I can just kind of blaze through a house cutting all of my casing sets at a 45-degree cut, pre-assemble them, nail them on, and just go to town. Generally, I don't mess with it if it's between a 1/16 or an 1/8, either in or out. I don't mess with it. I can usually manipulate the situation in the casing, kind of nailing it on a little bit harder to make that work. And that is one of the advantages of pre-assembling your casing. If you have a really strong miter joint that is glued together, whenever you go to install that, you can nail that outside edge and kind of pull it into the wall without your miter breaking apart. So that helps speed up that process. But whenever you must cut your miters at a compound angle, like I just demonstrated, I like to make a diagram of the window and note each corner, whether it's in, out, and how much. So I'll make a square, note the top of the window, and then I'll number the corners 1, 2, 3, 4, and write, okay, this one's an 1/8 inch, this one's flat, this one's a 1/4 inch. That's really the only way to keep it straight that I know of. Definitely takes more time and it can be quite a bit more confusing to try to wrap your head around, but it's about the only way to do it. Another question might be, what about pre-assembly? Can you pre-assemble these casing sets if you're doing these compound angles? Absolutely. As you guys know, I use hyper and clam clamps almost exclusively on all of my casing miters. I'll show you what I do. So this is the actual casing for the window we were just working on. So what I don't want to do is try and pre-assemble this with it flat on the table like I normally would. You can even see here we've got a weird gap down the center. That's because this miter was cut at that nested position at a compound angle. So it's not going to work very well like this. Now you may be able to use your clam clamp and squeeze it together, and what you'll see is look what's happening right now is the power of the clam clamp is actually lifting this up off of the table. I want to try to give you a view of this as this is happening. So you'll see here, as this is flat right here, as I squeeze this clam clamp together, it's pulling the miter tight, and watch that front edge of the casing lift off the table. That is because the clamp is drawing this miter into its natural position, which is lifted up about an 1/8 inch or so off of the table. So that's what we want. So you could do it that way if that's how you want to do it. What I usually do is I still use my gauge, and I will just set the gauge underneath that miter whenever I'm clamping it together to make sure that it's going to be exactly as it's supposed to. So in this case here, what I generally like to do is I'd kind of line up my miters, put my gauge underneath there, try and get them situated about where they're supposed to be. And you want to give your clamp about a 1/2 turn just to put the dimples in where the teeth go. Release that and carefully take one piece. We would spread our glue on it, put it back as quickly as possible, and then clamp it fully, and you'd have that perfect miter. So you may wonder, well, how extreme can you go with this technique? How bad can the situation be before this stops to work? And the thing to wrap your head around is we're literally doing the exact same thing with casing that we do with crown molding when we cut crown molding in the nested position. Now, a lot of you are no doubt familiar with cutting crown molding with a fence, a crown fence, and we are cutting it in what is called the nested position. And all that means is we are cutting it in the same position that the crown molding is going to sit on the wall. So in this instance, as many of you know, you cut crown molding upside down and backwards, and what that means is because this is going on the ceiling, the base of our miter saw becomes the ceiling and this becomes the wall. So I have it in the same position it's going to sit. Now what we've done is we've created a miter, and we'll bring this miter together, and then whenever it gets flipped, so again, whenever you cut crown molding, you're cutting it upside down and backwards, and you put that miter together, and that's how it's going to sit on the ceiling. That's what we're doing with the casing as well. Here, to do another example, I've just attached a couple pieces of 1x to my assembly table, and it's a full 3/4 of an inch thick. Now let's assume this is our window jamb, and it's sitting 3/4 of an inch proud of the drywall. Now look what we have here with our casing. If we I cut these 2 pieces of casing at a standard 45-degree cut flat on the miter saw. But what happens when you try to fit these 2 pieces of casing together when the jamb is 3/4 of an inch proud? That is what your miter looks like. Now you could spend forever trying to cut this at a 45-degree, all kinds of compound angles, and at a bevel. You could try to work it with a hand plane, and it would be inaccurate and take forever. What we want to do is we would just want to take a gauge block and cut these at 45 again in the nested position at the miter saw. Let's see what happens. Again, before I cut these, I realigned them so you can actually see what this miter would actually look like. Not only is it open on the top side, it's also got a gap down the center on the front now. So this is horrible. It's actually touching back here on this back corner, completely open way up here on the front. Okay, looky there, perfect miter. Now let's compare if this was actually sitting flat. Look how horrible that is. I mean, absolutely horrendous. But because we cut it nested, if we're trying to match a position that it's going to sit on the wall that's really bad, it's a perfect miter now. So this is just an essential trick to know and understand. It is important for me to note, one of the advantages with a profiled casing like this is you can do compound angles on a profiled casing, and it's not as noticeable after it's all painted up that the casing is sitting at an odd angle. Obviously this is super extreme, being off 3/4 of an inch. You would never do that. But if it's, you know, off a 1/4 inch or so, no one's ever really gonna notice that. Now the whole game changes whenever you are using a flat profiled casing such as this here, and I do a lot of this. Now in a situation like this, you would be screwed because you can't cut this at a compound angle and have it paint up nice. You'd have a big ridge right down the miter. It would not be flat at all. Our goal whenever we're using a casing profile like this is we want it to be super flat and nice and slick. So that's where you have to resort to maybe adding additional extension jambs if your jamb is too far in. If the jamb is too far out, you might need to get out a planer and do things like that, but you want the miter to look nice and flat. So there are some caveats to this, but I am using this technique with this casing in this house on a couple windows that were especially bad, and I wanted to pass that on to you guys. It's an absolutely essential trick, and it's sad how many years I worked in carpentry until I actually learned this. I remember some of the first houses I trimmed as a teenager, just whittling away at miters, trying to make them fit perfectly, not knowing that all I had to do was cut it in the nested position, one cut, and you're done. So hopefully this helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.